let's be an example. Let's be an example of how collaboration and good men and women can govern their people in a time of such turmoil in our country with politics. The people are what make this place special. And if we can respect the heritage of what made us who we are, we're hardworking people. We're roll up your sleeves, get things done. Both of us were working, but we had a new kid, so it wasn't like we had all the money in the world and it cost money to go to the school. Well, we got a check in the mail for the exact amount back from the OB that it costs to go to the school. Down payment. That's not a coincidence. That was God saying, don't worry about the finances. Don't worry about being a new father, which is a lot of stress. And so I talked to Alyssa and I was like, he's slapping me in the face. This is what we're going to do. What more as a father could you want than your kids to be surrounded by family, to be surrounded by a great community, a school where I get pictures from friends that are teachers with my kid. You don't get, I wouldn't have got that in Plano. And so I think it's been the greatest blessing in the world that we were able to come back here and build our lives and build our families here. And I know my kids they're still young, but they will appreciate that. They'll appreciate the fact that they got to grow up in a place like this. My parents got a divorce when I was fairly young. And so Mom took me to grandparents. She was going to school and I spent a lot of time with them. That lady prayed for me more than any human in the world. And when times are good, times are bad, I think a lot of good things happened to me because of those prayers. And
Judge Huckabee.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm glad to be here.
You are quite possibly the first politician, can I say that?
Sure.
The first politically minded person that I have met that truly cares about our community, cares about the people that they serve. I want to know something. Where did that come from?
To me, that's what it's all about. It's all about service. And I think that came from growing up. My grandfather was a superintendent, but he was the president of the Lions Club. He was part of the 4th of July parade people. And just watching them serve in our community is something that's always been in me. And, I think that's a big part of my faith is that we're called to stand in the gap and to serve and to lead in the community that we want our kids to grow up in. And I really feel that more since I had kids. And I did nothing politically till I had kids. And I, it just comes from a place of wanting to be the world to be a better place, to leave it a better place for my kids in this community, especially because I left and came back because this is where I wanted to raise my kids. And I want my kids to raise their kids and their grandkids and to be that family that's been here for a long time because it's a special place. So
it truly is.
It is.
So you said your grandparents, were they from here?
No, neither one of my grandparents originally were from here. My grandfather moved here in 1973 on my mom's side to be the head football coach. Moved from Albany.
Serious?
Yeah, for a head football coach in 1973 to be the head football coach for the Yellow Jackets. And then my grandmother finished school, went to Tarleton, and then was a first grade teacher here for a long time. And then my dad's side of the family, my great grandfather, and then moved here. They were all my family's from West Texas, and somehow ended up here. Not somehow, I know how they all ended up here, but they ended up here and they farmed and ranched and built houses. And then my parents were dated in high school and got married. And
high school here,
and I'm here. So yeah, and they've never left. I left for a little bit, but like I said earlier, this is home. Always will be.
So were any of the grandparents or parents in politics after football? Well,
No.
because a head football coach in a town like ours is kind of political.
It was, but in '73, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, it was a different time for Yellow Jacket football. Uh, Brown would beat them every year. I get to hear the stories until the '90s, and he was head football coach, and then moved into the superintendent's office and was the high school principal when he retired in the early '90s. And so he was here at the very beginning of the Art Browse years, and for the first state championship, maybe the second one. And but no politics on either side of the family. Um, Honestly, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, would I be sitting here? If you would have asked me 3 years ago if I'd be sitting in the county judge's spot, I would have, 4 years ago, I guess time flies, I would have told you you're crazy. But, it's something I've always been interested in, really. And it truly is about making your community better and stepping up to serve. And I hope that people can look at people my age, and there's some other young judges across the state of Texas, and realize that we have to be involved. And if you want a better community, you've got to be in the arena. There's a Teddy Roosevelt quote, in the arena, and it's one of my favorite. It's in my office at the courthouse. To step into the arena, if we're not willing to make the sacrifices that you have to make in our role, you can't complain about things. If you want things fixed, if you want to lead in a way that you think your community deserves, then it's on us to step up. And so I hope younger and younger people feel that and don't become disillusioned with the political process. It's easy to do in the world we live in now, but I think that's just vitally important.
So if you didn't get it by family, why did you become interested in politics? Because I thought you were interested in soccer.
I do like soccer. I like basketball. I grew up playing basketball. I really don't know. It's always been something that's interested me. It really has. Just the dynamic, and when you're younger, and most people pay attention to national politics. They don't pay attention to things that really affect their everyday life, like local politics. But what really got me when I moved back and started my own businesses and things like that is it has, what we do every day has a direct impact on the lives of the people that surround us, the roads, the infrastructure, now that where I'm at, the justice system and things like that. And so I think it's always, I've always wanted to serve. I feel like that is the role that God has given me to play out while I'm here on this earth, is to serve in any way I can. And I've been fortunate. I've been lucky. I was afforded the confidence of the people when I ran for city council the first time. And then, when I ran for county judge, to do it on a countywide level, I think we've talked about this before. It's not me that got me here. And I don't mean that in a braggadocious way. I believe the Lord puts things for you. And I think I'm here and for a reason. And I don't take that lightly. And so I think, it's just where life's led me. So
I think you're exactly right in that. And if we were to quote the text, I mean, he puts government officials, he puts leaders in place for the good of the people who follow them. What is that like, knowing that God has chosen you to lead this area? That's gotta be humbling.
it's humbling. It's deep, and it's a, pressure is a privilege is something I say to my staff a lot. And if you feel pressure, it's a privilege that people expect things of you. And sometimes they smile, sometimes they go, "Oh, I'm tired of the pressure." But it's humbling. It really is. And it takes a collective people. It's not just me. I'm part of a court and a group of elected officials that I think are amazing. Anybody that steps up to serve their community, from a precinct chair to the school board, to a local city council, to a government official, state, I think they should be applauded. Do I agree with everything they say? No, but I think they should be applauded for taking that step to do it, and taking the faith and not being afraid. Not being afraid. When you feel it in your heart, and it's laid on your heart. If you pray about it, which I did multiple times, many, 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 many times with my wife, is this the right thing? I mean, um, and if you feel it, going for it. So.
Well, how in the world, yeah, you alluded to it a minute ago. How in the world, and I mean no disrespect, Judge, did you get enough people to vote for you
I agree.
at the city council on the first time around? Was it family ties, favor of the Lord? What do you think happened there?
My family's from here, and I think that they've built a strong legacy of leadership with my grandparents and my parents, and so from here, know here, business background, trying to make government more efficient and better, and address some of the long term concerns that have been here for a long time. I think that connected with people. Uh, I try to be honest. I try to be honest. I am honest all the time. I try to be as transparent with that as possible. And I often tell people, you may not agree with me all the time, and that's okay, because I may not agree with you all the time. But I promise that I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to do the work that you expect of me to do this job. And I'm going to try to make the best decision that is put on me with the facts and with the core values that I was raised with, and that define who I want to be as a person. And I think if you believe those things at your core, and you make those decisions, and it's not about credit, and it's not about limelight or anything like that. It's about making the best decisions for your community, and you honestly believe that, you're going to make good decisions most of the time. And so that's why before court, it's about having that discernment, and listening to the Lord speak to you before and after and through. And I'll tell you, sometimes you have your mind made up on something, but you got to be open-minded, open-hearted, and know that the things you do impact others. And again, I want this to be the greatest community. I think it already is the greatest community. I want it to continue to be the greatest county, cities within that there is in the world. And I want everybody to feel that.
I agree with you. I think that right there is why everyone voted. I definitely know that's why they continue to vote for you in that respect. I'm just curious, as coming on, a fresh face, because at the time that you were coming onto the city council, there was a tension in our city about we did not want to, anything new was no. There was friction between the old and the new. We were having an influx of people coming in. It was a little bit before the California era, but we still had growth in our city, significant growth. Tarleton was growing, which is the university here in town. And we were faced with some serious troubles, and we were trying to decide, are we going to grow, or are we going to fight for the small town feel? And I remember thinking to myself, I couldn't imagine being caught in that predicament, because do you want to grow? Yes, absolutely. Nobody wants to die. Like we want to be able to be offered more services, but do you want to lose the small town feel? Well, no.
Absolutely.
So you could see the perspective of everyone, and watching you walk into that role, that leadership role, at least at that time, was really fun, because you offered kind of a third option, which you articulated very well just a second ago, of we get to keep all the things that make this place absolutely incredible and welcome others along the road. I think that fresh vision and the articulation of that vision, and of course, it doesn't hurt whenever God's put you in a place of leadership and he's calling you into it. That might have been the deciding factor. Right. It's fresh, man. When it hits the level of the citizen, it's like, oh yeah. It's always fun to watch you on those city council meetings, really mix it up and introduce a new perspective. My question, why did you leave city council to become a county judge? You were rocking and rolling, and I thought for sure, I'm like, this guy's going to be the mayor. And he doesn't, and you don't have you still don't, you don't have the smell of a politician.
Good.
You don't smell like, oh, this guy's in it he's gonna, he's gonna make a name for himself and he wants to sit and be the mayor for 30 years or whatever. But you don't have that smell to you. And then you leave city council and you go to county judge. Why?
Well, at that time, I thought some of the biggest changes and hurdles, some of those things that you talked about, was just cohesion of government and how the city worked with the county and worked with different things. And I really thought at that time I had done, and I thought I had done what I could do on the council. And fresh ideas, I think, are always a good thing. And I thought I could, if the voters and if God's will wanted me to, I thought I could add that fresh perspective at the county and really bring a more cohesive working relationship between the two entities and including Dublin and our surrounding volunteer fire departments. We're better when we're working together. And there is so much more that, especially in this area, there's so much more that we are the same. And if we can cut through the crud and work together and move through things of the past, get over some hurt feelings and things like that, we're just better. We're a better community.
Yeah.
We serve our citizens better. And at the end of the day, that's who's our boss. Whatever we're on, we serve everyone. And our job is to make their life better, not in my personal politics, not interfere with their life, be limited in what we do, but what we do it really, really well.
Yeah.
And I thought at that time it was a pretty contentious area with some elected officials in the county at that time. And I thought I could bring harmony and bring a sense of teamwork and working together to the next layer of our community. And that was my goal. I think we've been pretty successful at it. We've done some really cool things, and that was really the reason why. That was the driving factor. Is I thought if we all worked together, we would get so much more accomplished.
Yes, but that the burial grounds of every well-meaning leader in government.
It can be, and it wasn't just me. And like I said, I work on a court with 4 other commissioners, and if they're not on board for whatever crazy idea I may have, it doesn't work. So it takes teamwork. It takes talking through ideas. It takes not just shutting a door to something because of who it is or what it is. But if we talk about it, we get in a room, we break bread, good things come from that. And we've been able to do that.
And when you switched over and you were elected county judge, you walked right in and everything was in order and they all clapped and welcomed you in and you had no problems. Is that how it went?
Exactly. We'll remember that. I don't know. I will tell you, they were very welcoming. It was we have good people. That's what makes this place special. It's the people. And we had good people that were hungry to work together. They just needed the tools and the ability to talk things out, work through some of that things, through those things. And they're the reason we've got so much of this stuff done. But we were able to cut some of the tension that was there at that time. And personally, you'd have to ask them, but I think I've got a really good relationship with everybody that's on the court and elected officials in the county now. They know I have their best interests at heart because I truly do. I want to give them the tools to succeed at their job, and I feel like that's my job, is to, whether it's budgetary or through processes, is to help them better serve our citizens, and that's the only goal I have. I have no other mission or motive. It's just to help them be better, and I think they understand that. I hope they understand that because that is the truth. and we just want to make it a better place.
I don't think a lot of people know exactly the weight that's on the county judge, the commissioners, those types of things. You guys have a hefty budget and a hefty portion of the population. I mean, you guys are responsible for, in a way, Stephenville as well. So you're not just the city council, not just the city of Stephenville. You have Dublin and all the others. I don't think most folks know the weight of what you all carry. I'm from the county, and I know that whenever something goes on with a neighbor, or we have, let's just talk about a crime or something like that, I have to call the county, and then I have to navigate all that. They have to drive 15 minutes out. I gotta pray that the right individuals are coming. I gotta pray that the roads are intact, and they'll be able to find me, all that stuff. And I just don't think people know that you, the commissioners, are there making sure that the sheriff's department gets funded, make sure the roads are taken care of, making sure that there's access and vehicles, and just the mountain of stuff that you guys have to take care of, and the safety of the citizens inside the city and inside the county. Not just the safety, but all the amenities, the standard of living, really falls a lot on the county court and the decisions that you guys make.
And that's where it has to be collaborative, right? That's where, I've tell people this all the time, and there have been in the past where there's boundaries. Well, that's Stephenville, that's Dublin, we're the county. Every person that lives in Erath County, whether you live in the city of Stephenville or Dublin or one of our communities, is a citizen of Erath County. And I feel like it is my duty to ensure that you have the services that are provided. And that's why the cooperation it's so vitally important that you see where we're doing a joint dispatch center. So we're working together to reduce those response times for everybody. We've got interlocal agreements where the city of Stephenville, the city of Dublin, Erath County, whether it's EMS, fire, the sheriff's office, the police departments, work so well together. And they really always have. And if you get to talk to them, the boots on the ground generally, they know what needs to be done.
Right.
They're in it. They're in a service career because they want to help people. They want to help their community. And too many times, politicians and money and things like this get in the way, and it causes great ideas to sit on the back burner for long periods of time. And it's not beneficial. It's not helpful. And so you'll hear me if you go to any of the volunteer fire department meetings or talk to our sheriff or different things like that. They all know that's how I feel. I don't care who responds when somebody's in trouble. Let's figure out the fastest way to get there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if somebody's house is on fire and they're inside the city limits or they're in the county.
First one there wins.
First one wins. Let's make it a contest. It's better because it better serves everybody.
Yes.
And so I'm a big believer, and that's where, listen, the things that you talked about, budget and things are so expensive. The things we have to buy, fire trucks, millions of dollars, ambulances, $500,000.
Roads that you guys have to keep are multiple millions.
And so if you don't collaborate, we don't have the resources to do it without taking more of your hard-earned money. And I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's your money. You earned it. But we have to have some of those shared services and do that. And when we can become more efficient and work more collaboratively, we just do so much better. And we are doing that all over the place right now. And I'm so proud of our EMS department. I'm so proud of the police departments and the leaderships we have there, our sheriff's office, our fire departments, all the volunteer fire departments we have. We're there and we're working together. And could we be better? Absolutely. Because perfection there's only one.
Right.
One. So continue to build on those things. I think it's important. And it is, if you step back from it, and people tell me all the time, it is a lot. I don't feel it that often, and I don't know if that's just a gift from God, but it's service. It's stepping in. Somebody has to do it. And I want to ensure that we're doing it in the best way, most efficient way possible that has the citizens' best interest at heart in every decision we make.
I was in a meeting this morning with the Stephenville police chief, and he made mention of a project which you just brought up just a second ago, the Joint Dispatch Center. And he credits you and your team with the lion's share of making that thing happen. What's that like?
It's been fun. That is in our community something that's been talked about for 20 years. It was talked about when I got on city council. And when I was on city council, I would ask questions. Where are we on this? Why? What's taking so long? I can be impatient sometimes. Ask my kids. But working on that. But why so long? And it just takes getting the right people in place. It really does. It takes getting the right people in place. Chris Brooks is our emergency management coordinator, and without him, I don't know that we would be here. He's a pit bull when I give him a project, and he pushes and he works well. Chief Harris has done great work. Sheriff Coates has done great work. Kerry Jackson, our EMS director, Chief Isbell from the Stephenville Fire Department, and Dallas Sims, who's the president of Volunteer Fire Association. We created a board. I said, guys, we've got a board now. I've got the council and the commissioners court agreeing we're going to do this. Let's make it happen. We've been here before, but let's make it happen. And it's credit to those guys. It's a credit to those guys. Again, we had the money. That was never a problem. It was us getting out of the way and saying, you guys create what we need. Yeah. And they've done an amazing job for it.
Boy, they truly have. You guys have done a heck of a job of moving that project that was so stuck. Bringing that one through.
It was stuck. It was stuck. And it took the court being involved and presenting an idea. And I can be pretty persistent if I believe in something. And
that piece right there. What is that? I mean, you say persistence, but it's the piece that, that project's been sitting for 20 years, and you start pushing. It's been sitting in your awareness since city council, but you keep pushing in city council, then you push at county judge, and then you get it done though, where others have failed in that. What is that unique piece? What's that spark that I know it's you, and you don't like to talk about yourself, but I'm curious about you, good sir. There's something that we recognize in what you're trying to do and taking care of our community that we go, yeah, Brandon's got it. Lead us. What are you saying? We need this? Okay, yeah, let's get it done this time. How do you rally the people to see the vision that you see?
Well, if you're doing the right thing, and you're doing it for the right reasons, and you get the people in the right room, and you lay out the vision, it becomes a lot harder to say no.
It's just that easy, isn't it, Judge?
No, but
I've been a lot of church meetings where it doesn't go quite as clear.
But you have to remove roadblocks, and you have to have conversations. And I'm guilty of this. I forget about the probably hundreds of conversations I've had with so many different people about this project and where we're at. This makes sense, right? And I think it's just having conversations and laying it out and getting people in a room. I'm a huge believer in getting people in a room. People that been fighting, we're getting in a room and we're going to talk about it. And I really think it truly, I understand it's not that simple, but it really is that simple. If you get people communicating and you have the right leadership, and that is a key part of it with everyone, not just one, but everyone, because it could be Brandon's idea. And if it's Brandon's idea and somebody doesn't like it, well, it doesn't happen. But if everybody in the room doesn't care who gets the credit, everybody in the room wants what's best for the citizens, truly, everybody's been saying for 20 years, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Why are we not doing it?
It's a great idea.
It's a great idea. Why are we not doing it? Because we're not sitting in a room and we're not conversating, and we don't, you cannot be discouraged. You got to have courage, and you can't be discouraged by a bad conversation or a bad I don't like your idea. Well, why don't you like it? Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's make it better instead of, you know, uh, getting down in the dirt and having your feelings hurt by something. And really, I'll just say it again. I think it's that easy. When people communicate openly and honestly with an open mind, open ears, open heart, good things happen.
I'm just going to let that linger there for a minute because that's good stuff, Judge. So when I say we being the Ministerial Alliance, okay, we were invited to begin showing up to county court and to pray. I had heard rumors about county court being a stuffy, contentious kind of meeting. I've never experienced that. Every time we go, everybody's lighthearted. They're having a good time. There's a bit of joke. I mean, it's serious. We're handling, you guys are deciding people's lives in a way. But it's always done with respect, lightheartedness, everybody's opinion being heard. I haven't seen any fights break out or anything like that.
Thank goodness.
So far. What do you attribute that to? Same philosophy or?
Same philosophy, good people. When I was on the city council, that was started before me, and y'all had came and prayed before every meeting I had there. And when I had won election, I talked to Kurt about that. That wasn't something that was happening at the court. I believe they had it previously, but it wasn't something that was currently happening. And I just believe that that's an important part. It's an important part to center yourself for the discernment of those discussions. And remember, it's a remembrance every time I'm there, no matter who from the organization comes and prays, to remember why we're there. It's a good humbling. It's a good, it's the guide that should help us make all of our decisions. And so I think that we have very serious issues in front of us sometimes, and we have various different ways to solve those. But I think we, as a court, enjoy each other, maybe more some than others at different times. It goes in cycles. It's a relationship.
Sure.
It is. But I think when you start with the premise of we're serving the people, we're serving the Lord, we're trying to hear, we're here for a reason, we're reminded of that right before a meeting, it puts you in a good spot to make good, sound decisions. And I'm proud of the work we've done there. I consider the people I get to work with friends. Maybe they feel that way about me. We'll see someday. But it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and you can't take it too serious, and you can't take the people that take to bring politics in it. There's people that disagree with maybe nearly everything Brandon Huckabee does, just because, and you can't take that stuff to heart and get too down on yourself, because you're there for a reason, and whatever decision you make is going to make somebody really happy, and it's going to make somebody really upset. And so you stay open, you stay balanced to it, you try to do the right thing every time. You're going to feel good about how the meeting went and the progress that you're making.
And making huge progress, and it's so much so that it draws the attention of other communities and other counties. We had heard a while, it's been several years now, just kind of collectively, the Ministerial Alliance have been praying for the city, praying for the county, doing our thing, and this sense that God was going to make an example. He was going to lift Stephenville up, and I'm not saying every citizen would be totally perfect, spotless, blameless, clean, nothing like that. Just God was going to shine a spotlight on Stephenville, Erath County, and show the state, the nation, an alternative of how to do things. And you could see that developing, or you could see that developing in the city for a while, and still to this day. And now you can see it in the county where other counties are coming in. I'm curious to know, did you happen, did you just, I've heard some of your language around that, like, hey, God's doing some cool stuff in Erath County, and the others are coming to take a look at this. Chief mentioned it this morning that other counties are coming in to take a look at, hey, we're missing certain services, and we're missing some leadership. We're missing some key elements in what we offer our citizens that we could possibly learn from you guys. And he mentioned that the county is experiencing that as well. Did you hear that from the Lord? Did you, is that just a dream that's been in your heart? But I've noticed your language and our language have mirrored somehow. And I think it's one of those God things, but I don't want to go too far.
Obviously, like I stated, I think that I wouldn't be here on my own ability. And it's interesting you brought that up, because that's something that's always stuck with me as a source of pride. When Kurt or your father-in-law have talked about be that shining beacon on the hill, and have talked about that so many times. That's the coolest thing ever. Let's be an example. Let's be an example of how collaboration and good men and women can govern their people in a time of such turmoil in our country with politics. How can we be an example to those around us, how to act, how to behave, how to treat each other at the grocery store? Let's be the example that we all talk about. Don't go on social media, but that we talk about. How can we be that example? And I think it's an honor that we have had other places look at how we're working together. And I think a lot of places, if you went and talked to them, probably are stuck in some of the things that were before I got to the county, of the non-cooperation between entities and fighting, and even internal court fighting that happens, that I hear from my peers all the place. They're not on the same page. And that's hard. That's hard to make work when you're not all on the same page, not all the same ideas,
Right.
but not all on the same page for the betterment. So yeah, we have had other counties look at how we're doing processes and how we're handling different aspects and services we do throughout the county. And that's a testament to the people that work at Erath County. It is. Nothing happens because Brandon does it. It happens because we got 240 great employees that are making it happen, that make it happen, whether it's in the tax office or at one of the district or county clerk's office, or somebody's having to deal with a terrible situation with their DA or a county attorney. We have great people, and if we give them the tools, they've been super successful with implementing programs that help the people. And that's what's important.
That's good. Do you mind if I shift gears just a smidge and ask
Your show, my friend.
Ask you a personal question that's kind of, it's been curious to me, and it may have already been covered here, but did you know about, were you into government as a young man? Because I mean, like, you show up on the scene and you have a whole bunch of hey, let's work together. We're going to figure it out. What are we doing about this? And you're just like bringing sound counsel to bear, but you're not tripping over any of the rules. Behind the scenes, were you actually tripping over all the Robert's rules and all the the set up city government, county government,
and city government and county government are similar in some aspects, but completely different in others. And so, the learning and the behind the scenes thing, and I'm glad a camera doesn't follow me around 24/7. Yeah, there's a lot of learning, and there's learning every day. I learn something new every day, and that's one of the coolest parts of my job, is that it's a continuous learning for me, and I enjoy it. I love it. It's been a lot of fun, and I probably really relate that. It's like being on a sports team. I grew up playing basketball is what I played in high school, and grew up around a coach and people like that. And teamwork is the key to every successful team. There's not success without good teamwork when you have multiple people involved, and that takes really clear communication. I talk about communication a lot because I think it's the key to opening every successful door is good communication. It's got to be a part of that. And so I think that's where I learned that. I had great coaches growing up that were hard on me, that discipline and things of that nature. And then, I grew up, my dad's family, we have a ranch. And so I grew up working hard. I grew up cleaning horse stalls. I grew up picking rocks out of the field with a bucket. I grew up hauling hay. I grew up breaking some halter horses and different things like that. So I'm not immune to hard work. I don't mind rolling up my sleeves. And I think that when you do that and when other people see somebody, and listen, the title is the title. And I know it's still weird when people call me judge. I'm still just Brandon. But I think when people see...
Sure, Judge.
Yeah. But I think when people see that you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to do the homework and you're willing to go out and do ride-alongs and learn how the sheriff's office works and learn how the police department works and learn how the fire department works, they're ready to go when you are. They understand that you care and that you've put in the work and you put in the time and you've tried to put yourself in their situation so that you can help their departments be more successful.
So does it really boil all the way down to you care?
I do. I think if I was giving anybody, and people come ask me all the time that are thinking about running for different things, I said, first thing you have to do is you have to pray about it and you have to care. And if your heart's in it for the right reason, do your homework and then go for it. But you have to be doing it for the right reasons first. And then you have to be willing to put the work in. Are you willing to put the work in? Are you willing to, on the city council, spend nights reading pages of ordinances and looking at all these zoning things? Are you willing to do the work? And if you are, your community is going to be better for you. If you win or lose, at least you're putting yourself out there and you're trying. And so I think it is. It's about caring. It's about wanting the best for people. And I truly believe it's about not caring who gets the credit. Believe me or not, I don't care who gets the credit. I really don't. As long as we're getting a project moving forward, I would rather, like I said, this joint dispatch wouldn't have happened without that board of directors and without Chris Brooks. The communications wouldn't happen without that. A lot of different projects we're doing without the county wouldn't be happening without those commissioners. It wouldn't be happening without the other judges that were trying to do it. And so you got to care.
Well, I'm sure you have your detractors. I don't know any, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere.
I didn't get all the votes. So.
Somebody didn't show up that day. That's the only excuse I can figure. But it sure does look like, from the outside perspective, it sure does look like the Lord's moving you from glory to glory, type of a thing. I really do feel like you're in the zone. I hope you're having as much fun as it looks like you're having, and leading our area. I don't know what to call that. Our county. I guess it does come with a name, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Erath County.
Yeah.
Greatest county on earth.
Greatest county on earth. Yeah. And I think your optimism is helping restore the optimism of our culture. That may be too far. I'm not saying, around the world, but at least in Erath County, there's a big pessimism that's come up on our nation in the last couple of years. It's not as good as our parents had it. We can't afford rents. We can't afford houses. We can't. But there's a couple of voices out there going, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. This is the greatest place on planet Earth to live. And you're one of those voices. From an outsider, I have to say thank you for being one of those voices. I was interviewing a girl named JJ Conway previously, and she said, I'm a hope dealer. And it kind of sounded like a drug dealer to me. I kind of like that. But I was like, you're one of those hope dealers, man. You're dealing a hope for a future for this county. And I know I've asked it a couple of times, but like, what's that like?
It's fun. And it is literally, it just comes back to I love this place. I truly love this place. And it gets me excited when I see, and we talked about a little bit earlier, the growth. We can grow. We can grow appropriately. We can, not everything's going to be perfect when you grow. Growth can be messy. But the people are what make this place special.
Yeah.
And if we can respect the heritage of what made us who we are, we're hardworking people. We're roll up your sleeves, get things done, and that can be shown throughout our county in multiple ways. And it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I love this place, and it's easy for me. It's easy for me to wake up excited every day to what are we going to tackle today. Sometimes my team tells me, let's slow down. And actually one of my goals this year was we've done a lot. Let's make sure what we do it really well. And then we'll keep going forward. We're always moving forward, but maybe not at a breakneck pace like we have on some of our projects. But that's what gets me excited every day is the next thing that we can do that makes this a better place. I've got the commissioners out. I'm getting people to tell me things, and I don't deal with the roads. The commissioners do, but I have people come up to me. We've got road work being done, and better than we've ever had it done. We've got improvements done across the county that are getting done, and that's exciting. That's what fills my bucket. The kid's bucket. Fill your bucket. Make sure you're filling the bucket. But that's what fills my bucket is the excitement from people seeing things and seeing progress get done.
It's exciting. It makes it an exciting time to live in Erath County, and which makes me. I know you have to do re-elections and you have to stay in walk in lockstep with Jesus, but it makes me jealous for your time here. You know, there's a concern for me that, and I'm sure a lot of citizens of the county that you'll be tapped on the shoulder to help out at a larger perhaps area or level. Has that ever crossed your mind?
Has it crossed my mind? Yes. Have I been asked? Yes. And I tell all those people the same thing. I don't see myself going there. And I never know because I wouldn't have seen myself in this chair 4 or 5 years ago. The county judge spot. So much of, I think what drives me, and like I said, what makes me excited for my job is that I love this place. And it's not that I don't love the state of Texas, and it's not that I don't love America or something like that, but this is home. Mm-hmm. And this is where I feel like I can make the biggest impact. And to me, that's what matters. I don't want to just go argue for argument's sake. And do I think we need more people that have a more collaborative approach in politics? I absolutely do. But as of right now, every time I get asked that question, this is where I want to be. I don't want to move my family. My kids are still young, 11, 7, and I want to be home with them. I want to be present with them, and so I really have no desire to do anything but serve my time here, and hopefully the good Lord allows me to do that for a little bit longer. And when it's time for me to do something else, I hope I'm listening and not bullheaded and listen to what he tells me it's time to do. And I wouldn't be mad if he told me it was to go fishing every day. But
sure.
That's only my only goal. I don't have any other aspirations except to help my county.
I appreciate that about you. What people may not know is you're also a successful business owner, whatever that may mean these days, here in town. You got your family here. I'm sure you have a faith community that you're connected with, so home is definitely here. What's it like running a business? Like you said, you came back here to to start a business and to start a family and have them have the same kinds of experiences and upbringing that you had. Are you seeing that played out?
Absolutely. And that's a complete God thing. My wife and I were living in Plano when we had our oldest daughter, Brinley, and I didn't want to raise my kid in Plano.
Not in Plano? No offense
to Plano.
Plano, you're awful.
Yeah, too big.
Yeah.
Too big. And I wanted my kids to get that experience that I got living here. But I didn't know what I was going to do in Stephenville, right? I could have came back and worked on the ranch. Not really what I wanted to do. Not really the right timing with all that work. So I prayed about it a lot. And an interesting story with that is we had Brinley, and I had been looking at what business I could start in this area that would allow us to move back. And my family, my dad's side of the family, built homes back in the 70s, early 80s. And so I've always liked to work with my hands, and I kind of been around that in my life. And I thought, what about being a home inspector? Totally random from any career that I'd been in previously, but I thought I could be outside. It's dealing with people. I can start my own thing. I can build it up. We were, both of us were working, but we had a new kid, so it wasn't like we had all the money in the world and it cost money to go to the school. Well, we got a check in the mail for the exact amount back from the OB that it costs to go to the school. Down payment. That's not a coincidence. Todd Brown, I really enjoyed your conversation with him, but don't believe in coincidence. I don't either. That was God saying, don't worry about the finances. Don't worry about being a new father, which is a lot of stress. All the changes going on. Here you go. And so I talked to Alyssa, and I was like, he's slapping me in the face. This is what we're going to do. And so that's how we started. I went to school. We came back. We started Huckabee Inspection Group in 2015, and have been blessed to work with some really great people and build that up and have multiple guys that work along with me that have become family, love them like family, and do some other different business ventures that I like to build. I like the process of building and doing things in a business. And so I've been truly blessed. And for my kids, it's been amazing. I mean, we're surrounded by family. The argument's really more about which grandparent they're going to stay with, not who they're going to stay with. It's like, hey, well, you were with them last time. So what more as a father could you want than your kids to be surrounded by family, to be surrounded by a great community, a school where I get pictures from friends that are teachers with my kid. You don't get, I wouldn't have got that in Plano. And so it's, I think it's been the greatest blessing in the world that we were able to come back here and build our lives and build our families here. And I know my kids are, well, they're still young, but they will appreciate that. They'll appreciate the fact that they got to grow up in a place like this.
Well, let me ask you about your faith to round out the total man, because it's been dabbled in throughout your story. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I grew up going to the Methodist Church. I'm still a member of the Methodist Church
here in town.
Here in town. Growing up, though, I kind of split time. My grandparents lived here in Stephenville, and this is my mother's side of the family, Leon and Shirley. And so I would come to the big church, the big Golden Dome Church in Stephenville, or I would go to the Little Bluffdale Methodist Church. Is where I grew up, and all the way through. I spent some time going to visit my aunt and uncle in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they were members of the Rhema Bible Church. And so I experienced what a mega super church looks like going with them. And while there were great things from that, it also made me question other things, just in a real life conversation with you. I believe that the Lord puts us here to be his hands and feet and mouth and serve, and that's what our main goal should always be. And that's really what my faith is based around. It's doing good, being being a good person, being a person. Daughter and I talked about on the way to school, the golden rule today. I'm like, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated, right? And so that's how I grew up. I still go to the Methodist Church here today, but I will tell you, I I love hearing. I watch online sermons from time to time from all the pastors. We have so many good
We
people
have
in this. It's
so
I'm like
many.
I told
We're
my wife
spoiled for
we are
grace.
spoiled because I told my wife I don't want to be the guy that just bounces around from church to church and listen.
Ah, it's amazing.
But there's so many good
That's what I
people.
tell my church all the time. Hey, like I'm here. I think we're tip of the spear in what we're doing. But like, if anything happened, we could bounce down. I mean, Nazarene, Cornerstone, Baptist guys, Church of Christ guys, they're rocking and roll. I mean, they're all incredible.
They get me fired up and they're fun. And I think that's part of, we talked about that earlier. That's what makes this community good. When you have good, and you're in the leadership role of yourself, when you have good leaders, in your churches and are building that fire, it builds good people and it builds a better community.
Yeah.
And we have some wonderful ones. I love listening to Pastor Ed. I like hearing Kirk. Kirk comes by and visits me. Ken May will text me from time to time, just checking in and different things. My pastor, Marilyn Jones. I mean, and I know I'm leaving out a bunch, but I watched the Lincolnville Baptist Church. I listen to Ryan preach occasionally. When it
I got
comes
to
across
do.
the thing.
I got to film his podcast. Did you see that? The
I have
one that
not watched it. It's
that Josh.
there.
Oh, listen. On the standard of podcast, a lot of times it's the guest who really sets the tone. I mean, the interviewer can ask the questions, but unless the guest is ready to go there, and hats off to Pastor Ryan. I mean, when the thing opens up with, I was doing 3 lines of Coke on a coffee table, you're like,
Where are we going?
where? How did we? What?
Right.
Oh, he went there. So,
But it's redemption, right? And
that's
none of
the
us
story.
are perfect.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it's that's just such an important part that I believe as humans we have to remember. We're not perfect. We have the grace of it, and not to judge others by some of the things that have happened, and block yourself off from that. It's just so important.
So let me ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who has been for you throughout the course of your life, maybe one beacon, one shining example of, man, their faith, I want that to be my faith. Maybe a teacher, a parent, a cousin, whatever. Has there been somebody, or is it a hodgepodge of like a little bit of this from this person, a little bit of that from that person?
I probably a little hodgepodge, but if I had to say anyone, it would be my grandmother, Shirley Manley. One of the greatest humans ever, and I spent a lot of time with them growing up. My parents got a divorce when I was fairly young, and so mom take me to grandparents. She was going to school, and I spent a lot of time with them. That lady prayed for me more than any human in the world. And when times are good, times are bad, I think a lot of good things happened to me because of those prayers. And, but she was the embodiment, or that's bad, I didn't say that wrong. She was the shining example of loyalty, faith. When she could, towards the end of her life, still would try to go to church at different times. And so, one of the most faithful women I've ever known, and loyalty. So I think that's where a lot of how I want to treat humans, the respect, and the continuance prayer for people. She would write me letters when I was in college, and she was always there thinking about it. And there's times where, whether it was, making a bad decision, not doing good in school, financial, whatever, it always worked out for me. And it always worked out for me. I 100% believe, because Shirley Mailer was praying for me. So she was I always call my grandparents are my foundation. And I want to live every day to make them proud of what the legacy they built. And I take a lot of pride in that.
Well, Judge, I think you can say, well done. You're embodying that. I like to usually land these planes here by saying something. If I know the guest, I wouldn't normally say to your face. It would be inappropriate to come up in the chambers and say, "Hey, Judge."
Fine.
But not to be a love fest. You have my vote forever and ever. Amen. As long as you're walking with Jesus the way that you're walking with him now, you are the embodiment of what we want in leadership. I mean, in your home, with your peer groups, in the county. You are incredible, man. I'm so glad that you don't know it and that you don't believe all the press. But just let me say it one time. You are absolutely incredible. You are ordained of God, if I could go so far as to say. You are ordained of God to lead this county. You were created for such a time as this. And to be a citizen in the county and to get to look at my leadership eye to eye and say, thank you. You're doing a great job. Don't stop until the ideas from heaven, the drive from heaven says, whoa. Because you are making so much headway, not just for our generation, but for the ones who are coming to live in what is being created. God is bringing his kingdom to earth through you. You're not alone. You have a giant team of people who are pulling alongside, but you are the tip of the spear, at least in our county. And I want to say thank you for being who you are. And if any of the grandparents are still alive, tell them thank you. They have done their job. They have run the race. They have finished well, or are finishing well, and they have passed the baton on to you, and you're making a good sprint of it.
It's an honor. It's an honor to hear that, and it's just humbling. It's a great place. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to grow a family, and I'm just honored by the opportunity. So,
and we're honored to have you, Judge.
Well,
thank you for coming on. Thank you for carving out time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we're done.
All right.